In this video, we're going to be talking about going on a date with a girl on a long walk. And really what I'm going to be talking about in this video is kind of addressing the issue of like avoiding long interactions. I coach a lot of guys and they have problems with having long interactions with women. They just want to get in there and get out. And it's a bad way to think about things. It's a bad way to think about relationships. It's a bad way to think about intersexuality, and it's going to hurt you in the long run because you're going to need to be comfortable. I'm John from BulldogMindset.com. On this channel, I teach you how to be a man today in modern society. If you want to learn how to gain financial freedom in your life, financial independence, if you want to learn how to build the kind of physique that you want, you're in the right place. Click that subscribe button and make sure you click the bell so you get notifications, because some of the videos on my channel obviously are not politically correct and they tend to rub people the wrong way, so YouTube doesn't always show them. So let's take a look at this DM. He says here, "Hey John, can I get some advice? I'm going on a date tomorrow, but this girl wants to go on like a really long walk together, which I guess is nice. I like walks. I'm just not sure what the hell I'd talk about. Like, I don't want it to start to get awkward, but she wants to spend a lot of time together tomorrow." So I guess the question is, how do I have a conversation with someone for extended periods of time and still keep it interesting? So the very first thing that you need to do is not worry about keeping it interesting. Okay, so the problem that you have, a lot of you guys have, is that you feel like you need to be entertainment for a woman. If you're trying to be entertainment for her, you're setting the frame wrong from the beginning, okay? You're the man, all right? You should not worry about that. You need to be a little bit more yourself, right? People say be yourself. I'm not saying necessarily that you don't need to change and grow and develop as a person, but what I'm saying is that you need to be comfortable being yourself. All right. You don't need to impress anyone. Anytime you're trying to impress anyone, it's going to come off as awkward. It's going to be a little bit weird, and it is going to be hard to do. Okay. You're going to have to, you don't want to be the jester. The jester has to keep on coming up with new tricks, right? You don't want to be the stand-up comedian, because the stand-up comedian has to keep on making people laugh. All right. If you come in with that frame, it's not a good place to be, and it puts you at a lower value. Now, this girl wants to go on a walk with you. That's great. So what you want to do is just go there and just show up and just let things happen as they will, right? Maybe there's going to be moments of silence. Moments of silence are fine, right? It's great. It's an ability to demonstrate your comfort level with silence, with awkwardness, right? It doesn't have to be awkward for you, all right? One of the best things that you can do in terms of frame control and, really having the upper hand when you're dealing with people in social situations is to be the person that is comfortable with awkward silence. Okay, if you can be comfortable with periods of silence, if you can be the person who's comfortable with things being a little bit weird or moments of silence, you sort of, you have the upper hand, right? That other person might be uncomfortable. That's okay, right? You want to always be in your comfort zone. When you're taking girls out or you're doing something, it's good to take them to a place that is your domain where you're comfortable, right? Take them to your place. Take them to a hike that you've gone on. Take them to somewhere where you're comfortable, because that is going to allow you to be a little bit more free and a little bit more natural. If you're in their environment, okay, then it's going to be more difficult for you. You're going to be a little bit more awkward. You're going to be a little bit more conscious. But if it's a great one is like if you're hanging out with a few friends, invite the girl to come with you. Now you're with your friends, you're with your social environment, okay? She's in sort of more of the uncomfortable position. A lot of times, guys, what you're doing is you're doing the wrong thing. You're trying to make her as comfortable as possible, okay? That's very much nice guy behavior. Instead, pick a situation where you're going to be most comfortable. And if she's a little bit uncomfortable, that's okay. You can help her to feel a little bit more comfortable in that situation, but you're going to have that upper hand and you're not going to have to worry about that kind of stuff. That's the situation that you want to be in. You want to play to your advantage. The other thing I'll say about this, just in general, so many of you, you're just like this guy. I don't know what you're looking for in terms of relationship. Maybe you're just looking for a one night stand. Maybe you're just looking to fuck this girl. It's fine. Okay. If you are still, you're going to have to be with her for a long period of time. It's not like you're not going to have any kind of conversation at all, okay? So you shouldn't be avoiding this, right? If you're trying to get in, get out, what are you trying to actually accomplish, okay? And that's one scenario. But if you're trying to build a relationship, let's say that you want to date this girl, you want to have a girlfriend or something like that, you're going to have to talk to her at some point. All right, so you might as well start talking to her, right? You might as well have these conversations. You need to not avoid these things, okay? And in general, guys, I see this a lot. I see a lot of guys that, especially guys that I coach even, right? They'll go in and they'll get a phone number from a girl. They'll go and talk to a girl, which is hard, okay? I'll give it to you guys. It's hard to get over that social anxiety, but you do that, all right? And you're proud of yourself, and that's great. But you go in there and you get her phone number, or you try to get her phone number, and then you just leave immediately. You're like, okay, thank you, bye, right? Like you're trying to get something from her, like you're taking something from her. No one wants to feel like they've been used, like they've had someone take something from them, or that they're afraid, that person's afraid to interact with them. You want to stick around. You want to stick around as long as you can. You don't want to be like, I need to leave and disappear, right? You might come into a conversation, okay, and make a false time constraint. You might say something like, hey, I've only got like a minute. I've got to meet some friends over here, but I want to stop and talk to you. I saw you walking down the street. You seem like an interesting person. I wanted to meet you, right? That's a totally fine approach, okay? And then you talk to them, right? You've given that false time constraint, but it doesn't mean you have to leave in a minute. If things are going well, if the conversation is going well, you get her phone number, and then you keep on talking. And then you say, hey, what are you doing right now? And she says, oh, well, we're going over to the beach. And you say, okay, well, you know what? Hey, I'll go with you. Let's go to the beach, right? And she's like, well, what about your friends? Like, I'll just text them. I'll just tell them to meet me later. It's not a big deal, right? That's fine. You want to keep it going, okay? Because a lot of you guys, you complain about girls being flaky and about them giving you numbers and then they don't text you back and you text them and whatnot. And a lot of it is because you're not sticking around, right? You're just basically getting a phone number and disappearing. You're not really creating a solid connection. You have to create some kind of a solid connection. Otherwise, she's not going to text you back. She's not going to remember you. She's not going to care. Okay, so you can't have this mindset. You can't have this mindset of two things, right, that you're doing wrong in the situation. One is the mindset that you need to entertain. Okay, you're not an entertainer. You're not a stand-up comic. Okay, you're not there for entertainment, right? You need to just show up and just be present. That's all you need to do. All you need to do is be present. Okay, and in fact, when you're trying to entertain, right, it's going to go against you. It's going to be bad, right? If you're going for a walk with this girl, a really long walk, that's great. Just have a walk. Walk with her, right? Let her ask you some questions. You can ask some questions. It's fine, right? But let her ask you some questions. Let her have some conversation with you, right? Just enjoy her company, right? Just enjoy being out there. Like what is going to come naturally to you, that's fine. Then you ask those things. You talk about those things. You don't worry about what you're going to talk about. I know that's easier said than done, but you got to train yourself to get into the habit of not feeling like you need to entertain people, okay, in order to keep them around. If you do that, you're going to have to keep doing that, okay? And then you're eventually going to run out of material. And then what are you going to do? You're going to be like, imagine a stand-up comic that runs out of material. It's a very bad place to be, okay? I guess a good example would also be like me on this YouTube channel, okay? There's times when I try to record a video and I'm like, I need to create some good shit for my audience. I need to just, fucking blow them away, all right? And I'll sit there in front of the camera and I'll try to say important stuff or interesting things, and it's falling flat because it's not fucking real, right? But when I'm talking now, like in this kind of conversation, you know that I'm being real with you because I'm not trying to do any fucking shit. I'm just telling you what's coming to my mind. It's coming naturally to me because I don't need to impress you. I'm just having this conversation with you. Okay, so that's a good example of that. And you could see, I mean, if you watch some of my videos, you've been following me for a while, you can see when I'm falling into the entertainer type of trope, right? You can see when that happens. All right, we're all fallible, right? We're all gonna make mistakes. I do it myself. Okay, so that's number one, is don't be the entertainer. Number two is don't try to get in, get out. Okay, you want to have as long of an interaction as possible. Okay, especially you guys, if you're trying, like, I'll be blunt with you. If you're trying to get laid, you want the interaction to be long. Like, it's great to get the ego boost of like, oh, I went in, I had courage, I got the phone number, whatever. But that's really not what your objective is. Okay, it's not about how many numbers you can collect in your phone. Okay, that's meaningless. It's about it's about actually achieving your goal, right? If you're going out there and you're trying to meet a nice girl that you want to have a relationship with, or even one that you just want to have a quick fling with, you're going to have to actually spend time with her. Okay, it's not it's easier for your ego for you to get out of there and then to not face rejection. But you need to be unafraid of facing rejection. You need to get in there. You need to try to extend it as long as possible, right? So many guys, again, like I said, that I'm coaching, they're like, they're aborting early. They're aborting at the number, or if they're making it past the number, they're like, oh, they're having a drink or they're having a conversation like, oh, I should really get going. Why? You want to stick around as long as possible, or even at the end of the night, the girl's like, oh, I'm gonna go home. I guess I'm gonna get in the cab, and she actually says, I guess I'm gonna get in the cab, and then the guy's like, okay, goodbye, and you're like, wait a minute, why are you ending the interaction? Why don't you just say, well, hey, I'll go with you? What what I'm saying? Like, you want to actually get into the mindset of saying, I want to extend these things. I want to actually be in these situations, right? The fact that she wants to go on a long walk for you is great. It's a good thing. You don't want to see that as a negative thing. So you want to actually be, and I know it's uncomfortable. It's uncomfortable to do that, okay? And you just want to take your win and you just want to go home, but that's not an actual win, okay? It's great that you had the courage. It's great that you talk to the girl or whatever, but you got to stick in there as long as possible, right? You want her to basically to say, I need to go, right? You want to stick in there as long as possible. You're going to have a lot more success like that, and you're just going to become more comfortable, okay? And again, like I said, one little bonus tip is your own turf, right? If you can get your own turf, get around your group of friends, that's going to help. It's going to make things easier, right? You're going to be more comfortable. And I'm smacking my mic, so that means it's time for me to go. And leave a comment. Let me know what you think about this. Are you afraid? Are you one of those guys that runs in there and tries to get the phone number and runs out? If you're not having success, leave a comment below, and that's why. All right, guys. I'll talk to you next time. Take care.